Hello students, welcome to the online lecture series 2021-22 organized by Gokhale Education Society's BYK College of Commerce, Nashik. 12th Yuvakbharati English An Astrologer's Day presented by Mrs. Sharda Nagargoje, Department of English, Junior College Unit. In the previous video, we studied part 1 of An Astrologer's Day. Now we will continue part 2. Let us recap the part 1. In part 1, we saw astrologer's daily routine as an astrologer and his business setup in Town Hall Park, which is the marketplace of the town. The astrologer conducted his business by the light of flare which burned and smoked up above the groundnut heap nearby. When astrologer began life, he had never intended to become astrologer and he knew nothing about astrology. He was a fake astrologer and he didn't know anything about his profession. The astrologer's business approach. He was a very good observer and listener. He had simple working analysis of mankind's troubles. The astrologer was a shrewd person who hardly had any knowledge of astrology. Shrewd means good at judging people, clever. Astrologer was a very good judge of character, which means that he could speak to a person for 10 minutes and decide what kind of person he or she was. He just made guesswork when people approached to him. In this story, astrologer was a complete stranger to the stars, just like his innocent clients. Astrologer was good at pleasing and astonishing his clients, which was more matter of study, practice, and clever guesswork, which was an honest man's labor. He deserved the wages which he earned and carried home at the end of day. Astrologer was very good observer and analyzer. His advice was useful to people. Here we will see about his past life. Suddenly, he had to leave his village due to some reason. When he had left his village at that time, he didn't have any second thought or a backup plan for his future. It was very difficult to him to settle in town, and it was a great deal. If the astrologer had stayed in the village, then he would carried on work of his forefathers, which was namely tilling the land, living, marrying, and ripening his cornfield on his ancestral home. The astrologer's business approach. He charged 3 pies per question. He set up his business under the light of groundnut vendor. Astrologer was very good at analyzing people's troubles, such as marriage, money, and the tangles of human ties, that is, relationships. Long practice had sharpened his knowledge about astrology. Within 5 minutes, he understood what was wrong with his clients. Astrologer was charging 3 pies per question. Pies is a currency which was used in past in 1970s and 1980s. Astrologer was a very good listener and observer. He used to listen to his clients for at least 10 minutes, which provided him enough information for a dozen answers and advices. By gauging the palms of his clients, he answered the questions of his clients in many ways. Astrologer always used 2 to 3 common sentences which were common to most of the people or to most of his clients. Astrologer also framed few questions for his clients, which were applicable to most of his clients. After listening to these questions, they were agreed with him. 9 out of 10 people were bound to agree with him. And then he again questioned, that is there any woman in your family who is not well disposed towards you? Otherwise, he would give analysis of character. Most of your troubles are due to your nature. This was a very common question which is he asked to everyone, and almost all agreed to it. After gazing palm of his clients, he would say to his clients, "You are taking lot of efforts, but you are not getting 100% result for your efforts. You have an impetuous nature and rough exterior. Impetuous means impulsive, spontaneous. You have very soft nature, but people misunderstood about you that you are not kind person. Because of this skill, he became popular among his clients. He was a mastermind at analyzing people's mind and psychology. His strong perception made him diagnose the exact problem of his client, which made the client leave satisfied. He closed his shop for the day when his neighbor, the groundnut vendor, blew out his light because he set up his business under the light of groundnut vendor. Astrologer ran into Guru Nayak. Guru Nayak provoked astrologer, confronted him to answer his questions. Guru Nayak pressurized the astrologer to pay double money if he is wrong. On one day, groundnut vendor left, and astrologer also started packing because he was running his business under the light of groundnut vendor. Now it was signal to astrologer to stop working. When astrologer was packing his equipments at that time, he saw a man standing before him. Now he thought that this man would be his client and he will earn some more money before going home. He perceived him to be his protective client. When the astrologer invited him, he posed a challenge before him and his astrological science. Astrologer said to the man, "You look so careworn." Astrologer looking at his palm and saying, "Yours is nature," and the man stopped him from talking about all this rubbish. "Say something worthwhile." The astrologer felt that the man was arrogant. Astrologer replied to him, "I charge 3 pies per question." At that time, stranger throws Anna at him and says to him, "If you are bluffing, you must return that Anna to him." In this way, they bargained, and the deal was finalized between them. The man gave the astrologer an Anna and asked him to answer his question, and if he doesn't answer satisfactorily, he will have to return the Anna with interest. Anna is a unit of currency which was used in India and Pakistan, and it is equal to 1/16 of a rupee. At the same time, if the astrologer can answer the questions satisfactorily, he would give him 8 annas. But if the astrologer fails, he would pay double amount, that is 16 annas. Thus, the deal was finalized between them. The astrologer prayed to heaven as other lit chirut. Chirut means cigarette, Vidi. The astrologer caught a glimpse of his face by the matchlight. The astrologer felt very uncomfortable, and suddenly the astrologer denied the challenge and requested the man to let him go. The man said he will not let him give in. He holds him in his grip. Finally, the astrologer realized that he is trapped and he has no chance of moving. The man turned out to be criminal by profession. The astrologer shivered and unwillingly accepted the challenge. He started telling about some woman, but the man was not satisfied and stopped him. He had a single question and whether he would get what he was searching for. The man promised the astrologer that if he has satisfied with his answer, he will pay handsome amount to him. This pact was accepted after a little further argument. Astrologer identified Guru Nayak. Astrologer tells the fact of life. Astrologer recognized him as Guru Nayak. Guru Nayak got impressed and overwhelmed after hearing the story from astrologer. Guru Nayak paid a handsome amount. The astrologer sent up a prayer to heaven as other lit a cheroot. The astrologer caught a glimpse of his face by the matchlight. In the matchlight, he identified Guru Nayak and felt very uncomfortable. The astrologer prayed to a few incantations before replying. The astrologer began with his prophecies by saying to the man that you were left for dead in the past and a knife has passed once on your chest. The man was excited at this information since he had really faced it. After he got wounded, he was thrown into nearby well to die. A passerby saw him and rescued him, and that is how he was saved from dying. The man was waiting to revenge the culprit who had attacked him, and he was in search of the culprit who had tried to kill him. The only thing which the man wanted to know from the astrologer was if he can find his killer. The astrologer instantly replied that the culprit had died 4 months ago in a far off town. The man was disappointed to hear this. The astrologer identified the name of the man before him as Guru Nayak. He told the man that his village was 2 days' journey to the north and warned him to go back home and never travel south again. He asked him to return to his hometown immediately as his life was in danger. If he left his hometown again, the man replied that he left his hometown just to search the culprit who had tried to kill him and was interested in knowing if he had died in the worst way. The astrologer satisfied him by informing that the culprit was crushed under a lorry. The man left after giving the astrologer a handful of coins. The astrologer too winded up his belongings and went home. Astrologer, after returning home, returned late at home, revealed the truth to his wife, free from the constant pain. Astrologer and his wife felt happy. The astrologer's wife was waiting for him worriedly, since he was unusually late that day. It was nearly midnight when the astrologer reached home. His wife was waiting for him at the door and demanded an explanation. The astrologer flung the coins at his wife to count. They were 12 and a half annas in all. She was extremely happy to see that big amount. She planned to buy jaggery and coconut for their child, who was demanding sweets for a long time. However, the astrologer looked worried and wasn't happy like his wife. He was angry at Guru Nayak as he had cheated him. He promised to give a rupee and actually gave only 12 and a half annas. After dinner, he shared the secret of his life with his wife. He said that a great burden of his life was gone that day. He always felt that he had killed Guru Nayak. So the astrologer had run away from his native village due to fear of being accused as murderer. He settled in Malgudi and married and decided that he would never return to his native village. Actually, the man who tried to kill Guru Nayak was the astrologer himself, so he was able to make accurate predictions about him, though he hardly knew astrology. The astrologer confessed to his wife that in his youth he was into bad company with Guru Nayak. He drank, gambled, and quarreled badly one day, and had a fight and had almost killed Guru Nayak. This is how life, with its unpredictable twists and turns, had created an astrologer out of a person who wandered from place to place without home or job. Let us see the vocabulary of part 2. Impetuous, impulsive, endeared, made likable, piqued, irritated, annoyed, or resented. Paraphernalia, a large number of small articles used in a particular activity or a personal possessions. Chirut, a cigar, vidi, jutka, horse-driven cart, discharge, yield surrender, under pressure, incantations, supposedly, magical words, haggling, bargaining, gratified, pleased, satisfied, pile, a string caught. Code mixing. Code mixing is the mixing of two or more language varieties in a single sentence. For example, a dil mange more. So in this sentence, among all Hindi words, more has been used. The examples of code mixing in the story An Astrologer's Day are Pais, Anna, Chirut, Payal. Let us sum up the lesson. The short story An Astrologer's Day by R.K. Narayan deals with a single day in the life of an ordinary astrologer. His day begins as any other day, but the day ends with unaccepted events. When he is about to wind up his business, he meets a villain character, Guru Nayak, who is a part of the past life of the astrologer. Towards the end, as readers, we receive a shock that Guru Nayak and the astrologer belong to the same native town. They were once upon a time good friends and had a quarrel one day. The result was that both were into bad company and had a fight. The astrologer tried to kill Guru Nayak by attacking him with a knife, and when Guru Nayak fainted, he threw him into nearby well. Fortunately, a passerby saved Guru Nayak. The astrologer left his native village forever and became an astrologer. Thus, suddenly he confronts his past unexpectedly but smartly tackles the situation. The moral of An Astrologer's Day seems to relate to the fact that the protagonist does not rely on the meaningless activity of the pseudoscience of astrology with its useless paraphernalia, but on his own perception, intuition, and practical experience. Overall, in this short story, An Astrologer's Day describes about a single day in the life of the astrologer. The story has suspense and a twist in the tale towards the end. Finally, astrologer is freed from the burden of killing Guru Nayak. On this lesson, there are assignments and MCQs provided to you to solve, so attempt it. I have shared video link of animated story of An Astrologer's Day in the description box, so please watch it. Thank you.